Hi guys, and good afternoon. So, bit earlier today, which is good. I'm going to have a few things. I'm checking I've got sound. A few things I'm going to go through today. First thing is I'm going to have a look at my Improvise for Real course, which I'm following. So I'll do daily practice on learning to become a really good musician. Hopefully, I can kind of play the. Well, I've just done grade 2 piano, so I can play the piano to some degree. I can play the guitar, not particularly well. Play the bass, not particularly well. So I'm just trying to get, just I want to try and understand music on a much deeper level than just as a kind of producer, engineer, DJ that I've been so far in my career. So I'm really working hard on doing that. So part of my study is to basically, I've kind of done the keys, so got familiar with all the modes and how they relate to the major scale. And also now I'm going through chord progressions. So today's chord progression, which I was kind of just playing around with at about 5:45 this morning, was this one. So a 6-4-5 progression. So in the key of C major, that would be A minor, F, and then 5D is 5 dominant, so it would be G7. So that was today's chord progression. And I'm finding that usually what I do in the morning when I do my piano practice is I jam over, they give you backing tracks, so I jam over that on the piano. And then I actually have my iPhone with GarageBand. I plug my MIDI keyboard into my iPhone and I do a little 15-minute or 10-minute jam with bass, keys, electric piano, normal piano, strings, some kind of lead synth. And I just mess around with that chord progression. And I'm finding that I'm starting to be able to really recognize it in music around me, and kind of almost it just comes to me when I'm just going about daily life. Suddenly it'll just pop into my head. So I'm definitely getting much more familiar, and I find composing music in that progression is really, really helping me. So this course is great because if I go to the lesson, they kind of teach you to think of it in terms of kind of melody paths as well. So the chord notes that are within each chord are the most consonant notes you can use, and then the notes around that, they allow you to bring into kind of tension, which you can then release by going to the chord notes. So there's lots of singing practice as well. So I usually have a break in the studio, go for a walk. Not today because it's horrible weather outside in the UK today. Well, where I am anyway. So I usually sing these to myself as I'm walking around. And it's really good practice because it helps you kind of assimilate that and kind of have it in your, I don't know, just on a deeper level than just being able to play it on the keyboard. If you can kind of imagine that sound, it becomes part of your musical vocabulary, I guess. Okay, so this is actually really quite daunting because I just completely blank. I've no idea what I'm going to do. So luckily, I'm working in C major at the moment. I'm working through all the keys. So C major is obviously the easiest key. So it's not as bad as it would be if I was trying to compose it in a different key. So, but still, yeah, pretty daunting. But let's go. So I'm going to put in. I'm going to recreate actually some of the conditions that I have in my other project. So I'll put in some normal piano. I really don't care about the sounds I'm using. Well, I mean, I care in as much as I want them to be a certain sound, but I don't care how good they are, or it's just about throwing ideas down. Don't even care if this is going to be any good. That's not what it's about. It's about practicing using this chord progression and writing music in it so I can kind of assimilate it. Okay, let me just put a retro synth on here. And I've put a beat down. I kind of just spent 5 minutes just putting a beat in. Again, the beat's not really what this is about. Yeah, I quite like that. Normally as a little lead sound. So I'll start off with some keys. Okay, so let's go. So this is my progression, just to familiarize myself and let you know. 6-4-5. So we're kind of A minor, F, G7, although I hate G7, so I might try and change that. Hate's a strong word, but I really do dislike that sound. Just find it really, I like that sound, that I just find really cliched. Anyway, enough of that, so let's jump in. False start. Okay, I quite like this last bit, I think. I always seem to play that same rhythm. I need to try and work on my rhythm because it always seems to kind of be the same. Okay, let's just go with that. So although I'm really not trying to do anything, sorry, 1 second. I'm just doing my lunch. Sorry about that, guys. It is getting sweltering hot in this room suddenly. Okay, this isn't sweat, by the way. I did just have a shower. Yeah, so normally I don't do any kind of editing really here, but I just thought I'd whack on a little side change to get a vibe going. Okay. I'm just going to try and slightly tweak this sound. So what I find with the bass, what I'm kind of working out from doing these improvisation sessions is that in the past, almost my bass lines are always, don't really follow the chords very much. I usually find the bass, just find like a little hook. And that's quite, you have a stronger harmony, stronger sense of harmony if you're obviously playing the notes that are in this in the chord on the bass. And often I find it's just cool just to like walk around these notes going down to kind of bring out certain notes of the chord. So even you could kind of to get the kind of go to the first note. Kind of ruin that sound a little bit. Should be recording now. So yeah, I find with the bass, little staccato, little ghost hits are kind of cool. Yeah, so little ghost hits I quite like. And what it's kind of showing me, and that's why it's a good thing to do this, because it shows you what you don't know and what you need to work on, rather than it just being this kind of like a wide open choice of things you could develop. But it shows me that I need to be able to play the pentatonic scale better and more rapidly and with more control. So anyway, let's just chuck something in and see what comes out. Okay, so there's probably something in there. You're kidding me. Wasn't recording. Ah, there is a shortcut. That was on purpose. Did that on purpose. Let me see. What was it? Capture. So that was all part of my plan. Come on. Come on. Come on. Shift R. Shift R. Give me something good. No. Shift R. Yes. Get in. The one. I'm sure I played it better than that. Seems to be very out of time to me, but I don't know if something weird going on with the drums. Like they're not looping right, or no, it's just badly played. Okay, fine. Let's just try quantizing it and see what comes out. do. Yeah, look at the region's not looping correctly. Okay. Yeah, that's kind of cool. So what I'm doing there, I'm playing A minor, going E, C, A, but I'm changing the bass note to be A minor, F, basically F major 7, because I'm playing A minor over F, and then whatever. Oh no, it's kind of doing G9 sus G9 sus 4. Of course I was. So I was just playing with something that sounded good, really. So let's just work that in before I forget it. unties it. So I'm thinking holding this chord sounds quite good. So it's A minor 7, but over G. And if you think about it, so if you look at the chords we've got here, this is stuff I'm working out for myself. I'm not saying anything which is like, I know this is just something that literally just came to me then. If you look at this chord, so this is the 6 chord A minor, 4 chord F, 5 chord G. So if I hold down G, A, C, E, I get A minor 7 over G. But by doing that, note 1 is C, that's in the chord. Note 3 is E, that's in the chord. Note 5 is G, that's in the chord. Note 6 is A, that's in the chord. Looking at the 4 chord, notes 1, 3, 6 are there. Okay, 4's not there, but that's only one note. Looking at the 5 chord, okay, yeah, 7's not in there, 2's not in there, 4's not in there, so only note 5 is in there, but the chord is on note 5. So I'm sitting on G, so it seems to work underneath, probably because it's on G, and also most of the notes are in both those chords. So I think that works just holding. I think I got a bit cheesy towards the end there, but kind of worked. So synth, getting sidetracked. Okay, so I'm just going to jump in and just play something. I'm sure I played that more in time. Anyway, never mind. Sometimes what I find when you're playing these kind of melody parts is if you kind of build a melody around a different chord in the key, you can kind of get this kind of ambiguity to it, which can be quite cool. Let's just try it. No. Quite like that. So there I'm playing kind of E minor over the same track, the 3 chord, and I was going kind of an A5/7. Yeah, so let's just put that in. what I wanted to play, but never mind. I want to try actually something. I shouldn't be doing this because I'm not supposed to be messing with sounds. But I just want to try a different sound to piano. That's the one. That's it. Feels like there's something weird going on with the kind of release of this, but okay, it's fine. Okay, so it's kind of sounding sounding as it's sounding. But what's the most important thing is I'm feeling. Oh, there we go. Let me get my bearings. 6, 4, 5, 6, 4, 5. Terrible singing. 4, 5. At least I'm recognizing it. So I'm starting to feel that in my body. You know, I'm starting to feel that progression. 4, 5, 6, 1, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's the 4 that throws me a little bit. 6, 4, 5, 6, 4, 5, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6. Okay, so I just want to try something on here actually. Okay, cool. So, oh, come on, don't give me that. So I've got this really kind of nasty noise coming in. Wanted to record in some percussion because it helps me practice my timing, but I don't know, real problems with noise in this studio, like ground issues or something. Just deal with it. I thought I'd solved it, so this is a bit of a blow. Okay, so I'm just going to record some percussion. And again, 6, 4, 5. That's the most important thing. Is I'm internalizing that chord progression, internalizing my understanding of music, understanding of chords and melodies, getting better at timing, and having fun because it's fun. You know, I'm very inspired by Marc Rebier and what he's doing, and I just feel like I don't know this live, the DJing thing. What's going? We're just in such a time of complete upheaval, and probably maybe it's just going to go back to the normal. But is it going to go back to exactly normal as it was? I don't know, and I don't know. I just want to be able to do things visually more exciting and make music in a more kind of more exciting way. Anyway, so I put it in my splurge folder. I'm going to call it 6 or 5 gam out. Here's a mad idea, right? As you know, if you've watched my live streams, I'm a big Mike Monday follower. I've done all his courses and yeah, a lot of the things I do. In fact, even doing this came out of thoughts I had as a result of Mike Monday's coaching. You know, asking questions and me thinking, why don't I just do video myself making music and learning how to improvise and how to understand music better. Because it'd be good content and it just forces me into doing it. So yeah. But he's got this thing where he says if you're getting too hung up with ideas about spending too long on finishing tracks and getting too much, this idea needs to be the best. It's like make like maybe 15 ideas that you don't save, no matter how good they are. So just kind of crossed my mind of just like imagine just quitting that and not saving it. That's it. Existed in that moment, never to exist again. And it's supposed to teach you to not be so precious about your ideas and get more music finished and stuff like that. I've never done it actually. Just reminds me of Pink Floyd guy. He's dead now, but the original singer of Pink Floyd, who had a kind of he kind of would end up being sections. Very sad. I think he took too much acid. I think he ended up being. He was an artist as well, so he used to paint stuff and then destroy what he painted as soon as he'd finished. It kind of makes me think of that, which slightly puts me off the concept, but I kind of like the idea. Okay, so I'm going to add this to my splurge folder, which is my ideas folder, and then I'm not going to listen to it for probably a week now, earliest. And I'm going to process it then and decide whether it's actually any good or whether it's rubbish, and I'll put it in my sketchbook and maybe it'll be good for something at some point. Yes, so that was my 6-4-5 chord progression, and I feel like I've made progress with that, so that's good. So that was the first thing I was going to do today. The other thing was to look at a track. Love is the answer. And I also want to answer a question as well that I got on Facebook. So let me just open this up. I may just something I need to work out. What I need to make is a little screen thing saying back like old school shop worker, like back in 5 minutes, just gone for a pint, back in 5 kind of thing. Although I'm going to go for a green tea and just kind of stretch my legs a little bit. So yesterday I've done. Okay, so I'm going to load this up. So this is going to be much more of a other end of the process session where I'm trying to get something finished, and I want to show a little bit my thought process when it comes to trying to finish music. And it's really cool actually to do one of those little sessions where you just come up with a quick idea. I find it really helps me finish music because makes me almost think that that was really good fun, and the more time I spend agonizing over small details and finishing a track is actually less time I can spend coming up with ideas and having fun, learning to be a better musician, stuff like that. So it kind of helps me focus my mind a little bit on things. So yes, so I'm actually going to go downstairs and get a cup of tea and come back up. I'm going to leave the camera going. So if you join now, um, apologies, and I'll get something sorted out for next time to say that I'm leaving for a little bit, and also something to say is that eventually sorry guys, I've just realised that I've really stupidly turned down the mic. So apologies if you haven't been able to hear me. Hopefully I can remedy that by boosting up the level, but that's an error I've made twice now, which is really annoying. Anyway, okay, so I'm going to come back in about 10 minutes and carry on. All right, cheers guys. Hi guys, so I'm back again. Let's just check everything working. Okay, so I've got to apologise because I realised if you're watching this back on the last stream, when I recorded the percussion, I turned down my mic, which is so annoying because I thought that was quite a cool stream if I do say myself, and I thought I was, made some nice points at the end, and I don't know if any of it's going to have recorded, so apologies for that. But then, actually, maybe we've been picked up by that mic, so all might not be lost. Anyway, no matter. So I'm just going to work on a track which is getting towards the finish line. It's kind of an edit. It's kind of not an edit. It's somewhere in between. I've recorded lots of extra stuff. Now this was a really difficult, really challenging track to work on because, like a lot of these old tracks, it's been pitched up, so they probably sped up the tape and recorded it in, or something like that. So it was slightly out of tune with all the other elements. So it was a real headache to try and get everything in time. In tune, which I think I've managed to do now. But it was hard actually. But yeah, as I said, I think I kind of got there now. But this is always a difficult part of the process when you get towards the end, and there's reasons for that, which are kind of have their basis in human psychology and fear of judgment and things like that, which are they kind of work with our reptilian brain essentially. So they're kind of hardwired subconscious fears and things like that that make finishing music difficult. And it's not your fault. It's just the way it is, really. So it's good to have strategies to try and kind of get around that and actually hit the finishing line and finish your music. It's so important. So a good thing to try and do is write lists, which I've always been doing, and really focus on what needs to be changed. There's no point in rewriting the track from the bottom up. You can do that on the next track, but what you want to do is make sure that what actually needs to be changed gets changed. And the first part of that is actually really listening to the music, not listening to what you're thinking about the music. It's listening to the actual music itself and what the music is telling you is wrong with it and what needs to be changed. Because if you listen to your thoughts about the music, they're not reliable. They are, as I said, affected by these kind of fear of judgment and all these subconscious primal fears that you get when you're going to actually put something out for judgment amongst your peers and the world in general. So yeah, it's really important to not listen to what you're thinking about it. Actually listen to the music itself, work out what needs to be done, write a list of what's going to be done, do the list, and then finish the track. So I don't know where this track's at because it's been a couple of days since I've listened to it, but I'm going to listen through now, and I'm going to try and kind of not focus on my thoughts, as I said, kind of meditate on it if you like, without sounding too you know what I mean. But yeah, just like really focus on the music itself. So I'm going to press play and we're going to go through. Okay, so first thing I should say is that this track is not mixed at all. It's literally just everything thrown in. There's effects on things when it needs, like the flute. Obviously, it's got those effects on it, just to give it, just to get a vibe together. But there's no, there's no mixing whatsoever. So that side of things is all over the shop. That's fine because I'm basically looking at taking the track to being the finished production before I start mixing, because I do mix in a separate project and I treat that as really a process in its own right. So the first thing I want to start with is like getting myself, start off with positive things. So what do I think is great about this track? And I have to say some of these concepts are ones that I've got from Mike Monday's teaching again. So I'm not trying to pass this off as my own, and definitely go and check Mike's stuff out because it's amazing. So yeah, the best thing is about it is, well, I love the sample, I love the vocal, I love the flute, although I don't love the flute that comes in here. That's kind of a problem. But I love this little section here. So these are all parts that I've added. It's not me playing the flute, but I've kind of conceptualized it and chopped it all up, and yeah. Keys we've added. I've added that guitar, but it's not really working. Okay, so what's not working? Okay, needs effects. It's too linear. It doesn't have enough to punctuate the kind of moments, in the track. The drums are too repetitive. They need to, hats to come out. The drums are literally just that project that, if you're watching me do my jamming progression, basically the drums are those drums, the kick and the snare. It's just like boom ka basic thing. I've never changed the drums, so I haven't really gone in and shown any love to the drums whatsoever. So they sound great, I think, on the intro. I love the kind of breakbeat kind of vibe, slight break to it, but it maybe it's a bit messy here, I think. And I think there's maybe some phasing issues with the kick phasing. It's a bit clunky sounding, I think, in that section. That flute annoys me in that section. I think I might get another recording of that, because I'm just not really, something about the phrasing of it doesn't feel right. I don't like the guitar, needs work. It doesn't really work at the moment. And the outro keys, I don't know what's going on there. They just sound like they've been tacked on, stand out too much. Now there's some what I call generative percussion. Those little bits of weird delaying percussion, they're being generated actually randomly by Logic. So every time I bounce the track, they sound different. But I'm thinking of just leaving that as it is, and literally the last bounce happens to be what they are. Just literally let it be random up to the last moment, and when I bounce the stem. But they need to come out a bit, because they're sometimes a bit messy. And I think that's pretty much it, really. So now I have a roadmap of getting this track developed, so it's getting towards the finish line. Yeah. So rather than just being this kind of never-ending stream of possible things that could be improved, because basically a track can always be improved, can't it? Any piece of music could always be improved. So rather than it being this kind of like never-ending thing, which can be very overwhelming, now I have a finite list of things that once they're fixed, essentially it's ready to be mixed. Okay, so that's my process for that. Now, I just want to pull up, I got a question on Facebook that I just wanted to address, because I thought this could be quite a good way of demonstrating it. So it was a question from a friend of mine who runs a label, who said that he's asking me if I leave mastering plugins on before I bounce the pre-master to send it away to be mastered. And he said because he's always left it blank, but one of his artists was complaining about a master that they'd had done because they'd asked him to take all the plugins off the channel. So I work as a mastering engineer, so I'm kind of quite well placed to answer this. And I would say that if you're putting plugins on which are actually affecting the sound and making the sound essentially. So let's say for this track, right? Got my buffer size too small. Let me just remedy that. So for this track, if I look at this in tonal balance, which I use a huge amount to test how my things are going to work, because they're kind of like a translation tool. So how well is the track going to translate to multiple systems? And when I'm mastering and working as a mix engineer, when I get things to look good in tonal balance, obviously using your ears, but when they look good in here, people come back and say, wow, man, the mix sounds great everywhere. That's because this is like sounds great everywhere control, for want of a better way of putting it. Okay, so this track, so this is not mastered, obviously it's not even mixed yet, but it's saying, yeah, you're a bit bass heavy, you're a little bit light in certain areas, right? So if I was to put on a Pro Q3 and just quickly do a quick and dirty kind of EQ curve. Okay, so broad strokes for mastering. Hear how this sounds much more open, a lot less boxed in, less muddy, less kind of yeah, it just sounds better to me. It's a little bit thin, but it sounds bigger. It sounds like it occupies more space essentially. Let's just take out a bit of lows. Now, if I was to now work with this on, this EQ curve is now kind of part of the sound essentially. I might add in some, some tape saturation, for example. Yeah, there we go, Kramer tape. Okay, so now this is becoming part of my master. Now, obviously, if I put a limiter on here, go down, let's use Ozone's maximizer, and I bring this up to a mastered level. Okay, so if I was to send this as a pre-master to a mastering engineer, there's nothing they can do here because it's limited. So they've got no headroom to work with. So even if you turned it down and sent it to them, because it's already clipped, it's very limited what they're going to be able to do with it. So you would never send a pre-master away to be mastered with a limiter already kind of baked in. But these plugins here, if they're part of the sound of the track, especially if you put them on early, and then you may forget and you've left them on and you've mixed the whole track and you've worked the whole project with those plugins on, I wouldn't take those off personally. I would leave them on because that's contributing to the sound of the track. It's giving you a vibe. It's like people that mix into compression. If you take that compression off the master, you've just completely changed the whole balance of the track. So I would leave, I basically would leave plugins on that are giving you the sound that you want. Okay, so if you're like, this is the sound I want, then don't leave it up to someone else to recreate what already is exactly what you want. you know, but leave the mastering engineer headroom to be able to tweak it so that they're able to work, to do the things that they do, tweak things, push certain areas, add in saturation, add in EQ and stuff like that. If you just send them a limited file, they can't do that. Okay, so let's go back to this track. So that was an answer. So should you leave on bus effects? Because it's one of those kind of cliche things, isn't it? Is don't, never have anything on your stereo mix before you send it to a mastering engineer. Don't have limiters. Don't bounce your pre-master with a limiter on 100%. But if you've got sounds on there, as I said, that are giving you the vibe, leave them on. Or tell the mastering engineer, if you think they could do a better job, say send them a screenshot of the settings and what the plugin is. Most people have got the same plugins these days, and if not, they can use something similar. And that's always an alternative as well. Okay, so let's jump into this track. So first of all, I've said that I need some effects. Now, this is kind of an edit stroke original, because I've recorded lots of my own sounds, so it's kind of in between the two. But it's not one I want to spend too long on, essentially, because I've got tracks that are much more original. They've got full vocals. So I'm going to just try and use some of the sounds I've already made for effects. That's my plan. Okay, so I'm just going to drag in some sounds. I made a lot of these with my analog synths here and recorded them in. So they're kind of a little library of sounds I've made myself. Okay, so for that claps shouldn't be coming in like that. This track's come so far without me doing some really basic stuff to it. It's quite mad, really. Yeah, that can come in. That can come in before the bass line drops in. Let's do a kind of long fade up. Generative percussion, different again. Big crash there. I don't want to go overboard on the effects, just for the sake of it. So maybe that could come in that little bit where it all goes crazy. I kind of like that, actually. It's weird. Chimes. Always good. quite limited to those effects, just kind of go between them. Unrequired. Homeless boys and girls. Maybe a crash there. I like the way that just was a mistake, it came in randomly. That sounds cool. I didn't mean to do that. I wanted to delete that little part there. Need a key change there. Put that there actually. That's not quite nice. Okay, so we've got a bit of a better ending there as well. Okay, cool. So effects I've added in. Might need to come back to them later, but that's fine. Drums too repetitive. Okay, so you can see there's lots of things that just play all the way through here. So that hat doesn't feel like that 99 hat shouldn't play there, I don't think. That needs to play. That doesn't necessarily need to play there. A weird little that starts too sharp. I think that needs to fade in a bit. Something sounds harsh there. Sorry guys, one sec. Sorry about that. Okay. So drums, yep. We've got some more loops here. They just, so they mostly just repeat really. So maybe they could come out here. Out the generative stuff. I don't want the bass to keep on playing there. Hats out there. Bit too much generative there. I've got this drum break that comes in here, which adds so much to this section, but I've left all the other breaks in, so let's see what it's like without them. Try a little transient shaper, maybe clean it up a bit. Maybe none of the generative stuff here. Can we say go here, maybe shaker, triangle, maybe shake it back in, hat maybe. Really weird loop. It's kind of just too cluttered in this bit. Yeah, it's that. I wonder what it's like if I transient shape this. We still have it, but just much less busy. Triangle out there. Why is that triangle still playing? Okay, so drums too repetitive has kind of been loosely addressed. I should be having a meeting coming up, guys, but I'm going to keep on streaming as long as I can. Yeah, so that is something I might need to come back to later. So I have to decide whether it needs to be done more. So the guitar is something which really isn't working here. I like the idea of it, but it's not right. That's better. I just kind of like it's just a bit of a random texture. On this boys and girls, love of the world. Outro keys. So the outro keys stand out too much. I've kind of remedied that pretty much. Let's put a pan on here. Just want this to be kind of, again, a random texture. So they definitely don't stand out too much. So the other problem was this flute part. I think it's the slide I don't like. I don't know if there's a way of like chopping it so it's more staccato. A bit too hardcore. Trying to mix and see if you notice it. Still kind of has that weird. Yeah, that's better. I love that little ending lick. It's great. Too much going out there. I think it's that shake needs to come back in. Now, need that momentum it gives it. We're all homeless boys and girls of the world. That sounds like it's gone out of time. So I have this little muted guitar that I've not done anything with yet. Just trying to work out if there's need for it. Kind of a nice little kind of loop. I just wonder if it could, well, this is not on the list, but I just wonder whether it needs any more groove kind of parts to it. No, I don't think it does. And to be honest, the amount of time it's going to take me to sort that out, Again, it's time I could be practicing making new ideas, getting better as a musician, so I can't really be bothered. Yeah, I could just delete this project and never delete it from the hard drive, like I was saying. If you caught what I was saying earlier about experimenting with making music and then deleting the project to teach you to stop getting attached to your ideas, but I'm not going to do that. So I've kind of done what I wanted to do on the list. I've sorted the flute out, I've added some effects, I've made the drums less repetitive. What have I put here? I know the kick phasing. I think that's something I might do in a mix stage. It's just bounce stems, bring everything back in, and just like work out what the hell's going on and where I'm hearing clashes. Because remember, there's no mixing on here, yeah. So like all these loops, there's nothing on it apart from that transient shaper I just put on there. So there's going to be like frequencies crossing over and stuff like that. So I think it's probably something I can fix in the mix. So that's cool. Flute in that section. Don't know what that means. Flute in that section. Yeah, I think I've done that. Guitar needs work. I've done some stuff to the guitar. Outro keys stand out too much. That's fixed, I'd say. And cut out some of the generative percussion. I'd say that's done as well. So, but regardless, I've pushed the track forward and now it's going to cycle back round. So I'm not going to listen to this for about 3 or 4 days. Actually, longer than that because I'm going away next week. So yeah, this track's going to get a nice break of me not listening to it. And next time I listen to it, I listen to all the things I've done today and I can say, yeah, that sounds better, or no, that doesn't sound better, go back. I'll save it as a new version and it will be all good. So yeah, so that was a good afternoon's work. So come up with a new idea, kind of improve my knowledge of that 6/4/5 progression, and now I've pushed one of my tracks forward. So let's get Trello open, and I always like this. This is always a good feeling. Is pushing the track to the bottom of the list. So yeah, it's going to be another at least 3 days. But then as I said, I'm going away next week, so I may listen to it next week just to write some notes outside the studio. But next up is going to be this track here. I can't even remember where I'm at with this track. Yeah, that's what I was going to try. Yeah, cool. So there's some stuff to be done on that one. So I'm going to open a card and I'm going to copy this file once it's bounced into the card. And that will be that. Hopefully I'll bounce it small enough to fit into Trello. I'm deliberating over buying the paid version so I can put in WAV files. Anyway, guys, I hope that was interesting and informative. And I'm sorry I turned the mic off halfway through the kind of improvisation section of it. I hope it still come through because I thought that was some quite good stuff in there. So hopefully it did. I'll be back tomorrow for my last live stream of the week because I'm going away on Friday for a week. So as I said, tomorrow I'll be doing probably another session on coming up with a track idea, improvising, or I may do something different. I'm toying with some other ideas of stuff I can do. But anyway, thanks for tuning in with me this afternoon. Thanks for watching on Catch Up If You Are. I've said before, I'm basically moving towards creating a highlights reel of everything I do in my live stream, so you don't have to watch like 3 hours of me editing vocals. You can just listen to the bit that I think is where I just tell you why I'm doing something, give you a quick demo, and then that's it, because obviously no one wants to watch someone edit vocals, do the same thing for 2 hours. But I'm trying to document my process because actually I find it really useful to do because I don't know, just gives me structure on what I'm doing a little bit. So, but yeah, that is going to be coming soon. Highlights reel. You just have to sign up to an email list, and then I'll send through a weekly, like a match of the day, match of the week highlights package. Yeah, so keep you posted on that. All right, guys.